So, what I'm about to read to you is the Karmic Refusal. You should take 5 deep breaths before you continue to watch this video because this is going to be very brain stimulating, as is all of my content. I like to think, because I don't want any of my content to be the same at all. I'm making different stories, and I write a bunch of bullshit essays about random topics. You guys have seen my content on here. I have 75 subscribers. Karmic Refusal, the Apocalypse of Meaning. Introduction, the Inheritance of Wounds. The defining psychic struggle of the younger generations in the 2020s is not against a tangible enemy, but against an inherited ghost, the specter of generational trauma. This trauma, passed down through eons like a corrupted heirloom, manifests in the very architecture of the subconscious. We propose that one of its most profound manifestations is the rise of homosexual identification. This is not a matter of choice or a simple genetic predisposition, but a deep karmic imperative. Hear me out. The central thesis of this work is that the human soul, burdened by the cumulative pain of its lineage, a pain often crystallized by sexual abuse in past or current incarnations, enacts a profound refusal. It refuses to continue the bloodline. It refuses to create new vessels for this ancient suffering. Homosexuality in this framework is a biological and psychic circuit breaker, a deliberate halt to the cycle of procreation, and by extension, the transmission of karmic debt. The etiology of a refusal. Trauma as the engine of orientation. The conventional understanding of homosexuality is insufficient. It fails to account for its increasing prevalence as a social and identificatory phenomenon. We argue that the cause is rooted in a metaphysical feedback loop. The karmic catalyst. An individual's history across incarnations is laden with suffering. A primary vector for this suffering is sexual violation. The soul, seeking to avoid re-experiencing or replicating this trauma, subconsciously steers the psyche away from the dynamics of heterosexual procreation. This is not a conscious decision, but a deep karmic course correction. The subconscious mandate. The individual, while not consciously aware of this karmic mandate, embodies its directive. The attraction to the same sex becomes a physical manifestation of the statement, I will not repeat the mistakes of my parents. I will not create a child who must bear this curse. Even within homosexual relationships where children are adopted or conceived via alternative means, the foundational karmic intent of the orientation remains a refusal of the biological generational chain. The societal signal. The increasing visibility of homosexuality is therefore not an anomaly, but a symptom. It is a collective, psychic signal that the system is overloaded. The trauma has reached a critical mass, and the species is initiating an emergency shutdown of its own reproductive logic. The collapse of the westernized paradigm, from refusal to rupture. This widespread karmic refusal creates a vacuum in the societal structure, which is still predicated on heteronormative, growth-based models. The result is a system in abundance of chaos. Westernized society, already brittle, begins to fracture along its inherent fault lines. We are entering the prelude to a second civil war. This conflict will not be a simple North versus South, but a multi-front war of identity and resource scarcity. Primary catalysts. The war will be triggered by the most fundamental resource, clean water. As this resource dwindles, the social contract evaporates. The politics of division. The conflict will be exacerbated by a deliberate strategy of conquest through division. Race, sexual identity, and gender identity will be weaponized to pit populations against one another. The election of a polarizing figure like Donald Trump in 2025 is projected to be the catalyst that ignites this tinderbox, creating a state of permanent mayhem. The Thanatopic imperative, collective suicide as the New World Order. As this authoritarian civilization tightens its grip and hope becomes a scarce commodity, a new, disturbing social ritual will emerge: collective suicide. This is the logical endpoint of a world where the individual has been severed from meaning, and the collective has given up on the future. The rationale is a nihilistic syllogism. The world is ending. My life is pain. Therefore, to choose my end and to do so in communion with others who share my despair is the only act of true agency left. This will not be the solitary suicide of a depressed individual, but a coordinated, almost ceremonial act. Units of people, families, communities, online groups will come together to end their lives. This is the final testament to a world that taught them to care only for themselves, culminating in the ultimate selfish act performed as a collective. It is the New World Order's endgame, not a one world government, but a universal surrender. Synthesis: the philosophical abyss and the alchemy of annihilation. In this terminal phase, all philosophies and ideologies will converge into a deafening cacophony of truth. The prophecies of transhumanism, the merger of human and machine, will be perverted. Individuals will not inject themselves with inanities to achieve immortality, but with lethal cocktails of lithium, mercury, and other toxins, seeking a final chemical transformation into nothingness. Simultaneously, the yearning of anarcho-privatism for a return to a pre-technological state will be realized through the ultimate deconstruction, the destruction of the self. The magic potion of isopropyl alcohol, lighter fluid, motor fuel, and diesel is a symbolic and literal embrace of the industrial and the primal, a ritualistic poisoning of the modern human body as a protest against its very creation. We will have arrived at the philosophical abyss. Every belief system will be proven simultaneously true and utterly meaningless. The karmic refusal that began as a subconscious shift in sexual orientation will have culminated in a conscious, collective refusal of existence itself. The generational trauma, having found no outlet for healing, will finally achieve its ultimate expression: the end of the generation. In the next video, I'll be talking about the prophecies of the refusal. Stay tuned.